The entire morning working on this garden bed here. We had some out of control celery that was getting munched on by the bugs. So I ripped most of this up and then took the ones that were in the best shape, cut them back, cleaned them up, and stuck them in these pots here because this celery will go all winter long. And believe it or not, those will turn into big celeries. So what I've been doing out here is I planted a whole bunch of carrot seeds, and it's actually a lot harder to plant carrot seeds from your own seeds because they got a lot of fluff on them, right? And the goal was to dodge the fly that's chasing me and basically spread the carrots out so that they're not too close together, because we had a lot of really amazing carrots that came up in the spring, but unfortunately they were kind of crowded and they were too close together. So since carrots grow really good here and I love carrots, I figured this garden space is a great place for them. I've also noticed that they like this garden bed the best because this is my hottest garden bed. Apparently carrots like heat. We've got our squash out here. Disappointed. I think this is an acorn. Oops. Acorn squash, but you can see it didn't get pollinated right, so it fell off. I've got a butternut setting on right here, which I'm really excited about. I love butternut squash. And I really haven't succeeded in growing a whole lot of it, but maybe this year we will. The other thing I did is I transplanted a whole bunch of little onions out here. I had a bunch of onion seeds coming up inside, and I wanted to get these out here in this garden bed. And here's a pepper. You wouldn't have even known this was out here growing. This is a perennial. It came back from last year, but it was being totally blocked from the sunlight by the celery that was going nuts. We got some mint down here. Here's some carrots that are still going from actually last winter. These ones were smaller for some reason, but they're actually still growing quite well. This is a cucumber. It's got lots of blooms on it, so there's some hope here that we could get some cucumbers this year, possibly. Still plenty hot here. Some rosemary, some oregano, some mint, and our eggplant is just now starting to bloom. See if I can find you a bloom. There we go. And I hand pollinated these because I haven't really seen the bees on these. Normally by now we actually have eggplant. So I just hand pollinated these. I have seen the bees in the main garden with the squash though, so that's really encouraging. Let's come over here. I'm not even sure what kind of squash this is, but this made it through the heat, whatever it is. And it is blooming, and the bees really seem to like the squash. So there's hope that we'll get some squash over here on these plants. You can see these are pretty happy, they're thriving. Hey bestie, bye bestie. I got a new bestie, that's awesome. Thanks for joining me. Over here in the corner, it's a watermelon, which is blooming. And we started this during the heat when everything died off. And we got plenty of heat left here for our summer. So this has as much a chance as anything. I have this garden app that I have on my phone that my friend told me about. It's actually saying it's time to plant all this stuff now, so pretty excited about that. Let's take a look at our kumquat. You can see this is making fruit, right? This was prolific last year. And it's still producing, even though, ooh, it's trying to flower again. Still producing even though we had so much heat. Here you go, you can see these a little better. These will get to be the size of large cherry tomatoes, like oversized grapes, right? And our fig is almost done. Hey, thanks for joining us. Our fig's almost done. It's actually got a few that are still might get right. Got enough sunlight here. I've definitely harvested a lot of figs this year, so that's been awesome. These are so good. And these leaves, they make great tea too. Don't undervalue the leaves. I haven't tried it yet. We were supposed to even be able to chop this up and put them in stir fries. Really should try that, I think, before too much longer. Soon we'll start losing leaves on all these trees because they're actually triggered by the lack of sunlight as we get shorter days. And this is our grapefruit that came up from seed last year. We planted it here on this hot wall, and I didn't know if it would make it, but actually it made it through the heat, and it's actually growing, so that's pretty awesome. And this is the fig that my friend gave me that she rooted, and the gardener for the neighbor actually jumped into our yard. I'm the gardener in this yard, but he jumped into this yard and he actually broke it off, so I put this little rack around it to try to protect it, right? But that's thriving, it didn't kill it. Remarkable. I'm gonna get my tea over here. And there are some lemons on this lemon tree. We just can't see it anymore. Oh, here you go. Here's one. It's pretty tiny, right? Can't see them that well though, because the tree actually decided it wanted to live and put a bunch of foliage back on. This poor tree really suffered with the extreme heat that we had. We have some comfrey over here. That's a medicinal herb that I'm growing. You can use it for fertilizer, believe it or not, but also comfrey is supposed to be really good for healing bones. So hopefully we never have a reason to heal bones, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Our almonds still alive. Unfortunately, all the almonds got attacked by those stupid leaf-footed beetles, right? They laid their really bizarre looking larvae on it, and unfortunately I didn't figure it out because it looked like extruded skinny plastic. It was the craziest thing. And very sad to say, we were watching for the pomegranates because normally they're attracted to pomegranates, but we got them off the pomegranates. And the good news here is some of the pomegranates didn't actually split. So we're actually going to get some pomegranates. We were so excited at the beginning of summer because this was covered with pomegranates. Actually, it still is, but unfortunately, the heat we had this summer, most of them split. But I'm guessing there's probably at least 10 in here that we'll be able to enjoy. So be thankful for what you get. Our Stella cherry, we planted this as a stick last fall, and this made it through the heat. It actually had 2 blooms on it, which is pretty cool. I really love cherries, so hoping this eventually produces. It usually takes about 5 years for fruit trees to produce, 3 to 5 years, sometimes 7. Over here, these plants have been in it with us since the beginning of summer. We have some Thornton cherry tomatoes, some tomatillos back here. The tomatillos are blooming. What happens is it will actually put on tomatillos inside these blooms. Oh, and I see some bees. Eventually, all of a sudden it'll just look like there's paper globes out here, and it'll be full of tomatillos, which is pretty awesome. And this Thornton tomato is just starting to produce. I really didn't know. I picked a few of them last night. Really didn't know what a Thornton tomato was like. It was some free seed that we got from Baker Creek, which is now in a different company. But hey, made it through the heat of the summer, and it's putting on some tomatoes. Oh, there's another one. That's pretty awesome. This is our catnip. It made it through. Some more basil. And it's always a mystery in this garden. I could have sworn I planted pumpkin seeds, and I saved pumpkin seeds from my pumpkin, but it sure looks like we've got some spaghetti squash going down here. So you know what we say, we take what we get and we don't throw a fit, right? Anyway, this is just a little update for you in the garden. You can tell that squash, pumpkins, whatever, really likes this side. This is a marshmallow root plant, some clary sage. Maybe this will be a pumpkin. We'll find out. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Yep, I'm really happy to grow anything that I can grow here. The thing that does the best are these fruit trees, right? Fruit trees really do well here. I couldn't grow fruit trees in Alaska. Oh, let's check out the grapefruit. This grapefruit has been amazing. I'll put my tea down here and I'll show you. This grapefruit is a dwarf ruby red grapefruit, and it's prolific. Look at that. I think there's 11 grapefruit on this little tiny tree. Let's find them all. Oh, there's one right there. See that? Right here. It's beautiful. They kind of hide. There's 2 right here. You see that? Ooh, here's a nice one right here. Oh, actually 2. This is my favorite kind of hide and seek. I don't know about the rest of y'all. But this little dwarf ruby red grapefruit, this thing definitely tolerates the heat. And believe it or not, there's 11 grapefruit forming on this, and this will actually make full-size grapefruit. Well, hope you enjoyed this little update in our garden today. Hope you have a blessed day today. Thanks for watching.